So yeah, if you're trying to learn standards, the way that I do it, and I understand different teachers are going to tell you different things, but I try to come at it from sound more than from the page. You might have a real book or some book that has the melody and the chords. That's great for reference. But really what I would do is I'd go to wherever you listen to music, some streaming service or YouTube or whatever, and find 5 or even 10 versions of the song that you're trying to learn, and make a playlist that you can just keep listening to. And and if you can't find 5 or 10 versions of the song, just find what you can. You can always add more to it later. Don't get hung up on, oh man, I got to put my guitar down and go to Spotify and find 10 cover. Like, that's not the point. But the point is to get the sound of that song in your ear, and probably if you get 5 or 6 or 8 versions or whatever, they're probably going to be in different keys than each other, because maybe if there's a singer, they want to do it in their key, and another singer might want to do it in a different key. A piano player might want to do it in their own key that they like, or whatever. So you're really getting a bigger picture, not only of the sound, but of just the possibility, and also hearing different ways to interpret the melody, different ways to expand the harmony. And once you've done that for a few days, a week, maybe, just put that playlist on, not even when you're practicing, but just whatever, when you're making coffee in the morning or when you're driving in your car, just listen to the song. Then I would go back to the sheet music and just try to learn it one section at a time. Most jazz standards are multiples of 8 measures long. They're most of them are 32 bars long. So just give yourself an assignment to learn the first 8 bars and get to where you can play it without looking at the page. Play the melody by itself. Doesn't have to be chord melody or anything fancy. Just play the melody, whatever it is. That's just 8 bars there. That was Stella by Starlight. Play little bits and pieces of it. Learn the shell voicings. If you're playing Stella, just learn some simple chords to get through it. Don't try to learn big fancy chords. Just shell voicings is enough. That and the melody. And then once you can do that with the first 8 bars, do the next 8 bars, and then do the next 8 bars. A lot of standards are fairly repetitive. That might go A, B, A, and so there's a lot of material that gets repeated, so that makes it easier, I think. Stella by Starlight is more of a kind of it's linear. It doesn't double back on itself in the same way that a lot of standards do. So that's what I would do. Listen to it, sing it. If you can get yourself to sing, that's always good. Take it one section at a time. Don't try to memorize the whole tune all at once. And then once you can play it, once you can play it without looking at the music, really get away from the sheet music as quickly as you can. The more tied you are to the music, the less present you are I mean, the more tied you are to the page, the less present, for most people, the less present you are to the moment and to the music. So, yeah, that's what I would do. And if you were watching this from the beginning, you heard me play Home on the Range in a bunch of different places. That would be another thing I would do, is I would take a melody and play it all over the guitar, not just in one place, but down here. Or, so that you really aren't just limiting yourself to one location, but you're just thinking more about music. Okay, Rodney, I hope that's helpful. That was a long story. Oh boy. So yeah, so Rodney, if you're listening to Ted Green and Tim Lurch, that's great. I mean, those versions are going to be exquisite. But also, I would try to find a version that is older. Try. This is something it took me a while to figure out. It might be obvious to you already, so pardon me if I'm, I know I say things that are obvious sometimes, but I say them because they weren't obvious to me. I'm kind of a slow learner, really. So, when you think about a song that people still love to play, like "Embraceable You," they love to play it because it's a strong melody, it's a strong lyric, it's a strong song. And also there's people play it still today because there's some nostalgia around it. But remember that a lot of these songs didn't start as nostalgia. They were pop songs. They were popular songs of the day. I mentioned earlier, I've been thinking about this tune, Laura, which is from a film from the mid 40s. And the actress was Jean Tierney, who was a hot thing, I mean, she was a popular actress, and a lot of people would go see a movie if she was in it. So for us in 2024 to play this song, maybe we play it because it has an echo of an era to it. But remember that any song, Embraceable You, or any of these songs from the 30s and 40s, started out, if people recorded them, like if you notice, Errol Garner recorded this, or Oscar Peterson recorded it, or Wes Montgomery recorded it. They recorded it because it was a popular song that everybody knew and loved. They would play it in nightclubs, and people would enjoy hearing it because it was a song that they knew and they were familiar with. So I always try, when I make a playlist of recordings of a song for this purpose, for memorizing a standard, I try to get at least a really old, early version, if I can find one. Maybe even the original version. If it's from a movie, I'll try to find the soundtrack, or if it's from a Broadway show, I'll try to find the Broadway cast recording. And it also gives you just a sense of like what that song sounded like then, before people started trying to reharmonize it and put a bunch of 2-5-1s in it and make it, a jazzy song. It was just a pop song. And as it happens, the popular songs of the 30s and 40s were very sophisticated. So we think of them as jazz tunes.